stateside. And so, what I want to talk about is really kind of just deep. We've heard some inspirational speakers, right? Most of you were there yesterday at the luncheon, right, with the phenomenal, honorable Bill Campbell. I'm from Atlanta. How many of you here from Atlanta? Anybody? So the honor having him here at the event was something very inspiring for me. The Michal brothers, who started the organization, and one of the things that I feel that is extremely important, the reason that we have partnered with nareb, is to really reach the goal, right? To help achieve that goal of getting more people into homes, more African Americans into home. And when I was hired as the head of diversity and inclusion for one of the most respected brands in this country, Berkshire Hathaway and Real Living, working directly for Mr. Warren Buffett himself, I was in awe, because I would have never imagined myself, a girl from New York City. I was born there, raised in the South, can y'all tell? New York City, from very humble beginnings. We moved, my dad got a job, immigrated to this country from Colombia, and yeah, he was illegal. He came here illegally and decided from that very point that this was the land of opportunity. And we have forgotten that. This is the land where you can buy a home. I'm gonna tell you, immigrants come here. I saw the presentation last night after Stacy about the fact that immigrants could buy homes here before African Americans could. I'm shocked, right? So sad. But we now all have that right, and we need to remember and instill that. So my dad moved to Florida, and he had 3 jobs. 3 jobs. I never saw him. He worked for Delta Airlines, and no, he was not a pilot. He cleaned the planes. For a long time, I told people that he was a pilot because I was ashamed. Right? No longer. My father cleaned the planes so that I could have a better life. And today, I'm sitting here talking to you about the pride of homeownership. Right? That's a big deal. He served, just like the guy serving last night. He was a server. That was his second job. Carried those big trays. He took me on the job one time, part-time. I dropped the whole tray on somebody. That thing is heavy. He worked hard. And then he also worked as a waiter. Those were his 3 jobs. So that we could buy a home. And I will never forget the reason that I am here today, because he sat us down when my family of 7, it was my sisters, my mom and dad, and my 2 aunts. I mean, not 8 of us, 2 aunts. We lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. How many of you, can you relate?
Yes.
Right? We had 1 bath. I don't know how we did it. And he said, Mija, we are buying a home. That's why I'm doing this. And we bought our first home. And we walked in, and I remember the keys. The day my parents put the keys in the door, and we walked in the room, and we ran all over the house like kids, right? You run like kids, excited. My mom and dad, I turned back around, and I saw their faces. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant, that face, that expression. It was a face, an expression of pride. Pride! Because they had made it. This is wealth creation. There's a difference. You heard Charles Schwab talk about that earlier. It's important that we all realize that we are the gatekeepers of the American dream. Because as my friend says, Jerry Asensio, none of us ever dream of becoming a renter, right? We all dream of becoming a homeowner. And we need to get our children back. And we need to educate. We need to be out there in the faith-based community. We need to be out there, and that's our commitment to you. Both Berkshire Hathaway and Real Living Brands, they're phenomenal. We have all the tools that allow you to become that, to help the communities. But we have to engage, and we have to let our people know and remind them, this is how you make it. Stop making money for others. Start making money for yourselves. So those are the things that we do and we bring to the table.